What's up, guys? So, very briefly, I have not forgotten. Maybe you have, but I have not forgotten that I owe you guys a workout video. Uh, I was gonna do like a little thing showing some basic JKD kickboxing or Muay Thai. Very basic, very beginner's level for anyone. Just not for so much self defense, but more so for fitness. But of course, these are actual techniques and can be applied as such. But I am not giving it with the intent to um, have you use it to go to the local bar and show how tough you are. Okay, just to stay in shape. For like actual like nitty gritty stuff, I might do another video separate to that, more detailed, more more effects. Or you could just hit me up. My links are in the description. You can email me, whatever, if you just want to do like a some virtual instruction. I am available for actual in real life instruction, but that does cost a little bit more because I'll have to come to your location to train you. But I am available for both. For most folks, I'm sure virtual will probably be the better option. Okay. Now, off of that, so speaking of violence and self defense, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the whole incident in Chicago where the woman, Carlisha, or whatever her name is, got her 14-year-old son to get a gun while she was being attacked at some little food stop, and the son shot the man and killed him. And so recently, the prosecutors, I guess the DA, or I don't know if it was the DA or the state of Illinois, since this happened in Chicago, decided not to press charges. And so I have some mixed feelings on all of this. One is, okay, good. So they're recognizing self defense for black folks. Okay. The other thing is, prosecutors have way too much legal power. Um, for most folks, they act as judge, jury, and executioner because if you're a poor person that can't afford to buy a credit, a suitable legal defense, you're left in the hands of a public pretender. I mean, defender, and even the good defenders have so many cases on their load. There's no way they can really give due attention to everyone. And here's the thing, to be quite honest, and this is an aside from talking about the incident, but I think it's important to for folks to know. The thing is, so for defenders who do actually care, and to be honest, there are quite a few of them, but the problem is it's a random drawing. You don't know if you're gonna get a good defender or you're gonna get a public pretender. But assuming you get a good one, the thing is, they have to basically make a judgment call because they are so overloaded with cases. They have to decide whether it's worth their time to put in the effort to defend you or someone else. So if they believe in your case for whatever reasons, either because you remind them of someone that they are familiar, that this fond to them, or they believe in your case because they know you're innocent, or whatever the case may be, they will put the resources to defending you at the expense of others. That's the downside of it, because there's just no way, if you have dozens and dozens and dozens of cases, when for you to to do all around the same time, that you can give the due diligence to all of them. So just respect the fact that if you're in a situation where you have a public defender and they're giving you the due diligence, that's at the expense of someone else who's not getting it. Sorry to say. So back off that to Carlisha and her son, her little son husband here. because that's what it is another black single mother and their son husband. So apparently she had a legal concealed carry permit to have this weapon, and she tells her son to shoot this man, this I guess 30-something-year-old Pookie, who's beating her up at the food stop. Like, first of all, why are you fighting at a food stop? And why is it always these cheap places that people want to fight? I mean, the food is cheap, it's quick. Grab your food and be out. Why are people always like wilding out in these cheap spots? 7-Eleven too. 7-Eleven, oh god, they attract the most niggerish of people. But I'll tell you this: 7-Eleven overseas, and again, this is another tangent. Sorry, guys. I'm like that. You know that by now if you've been watching my videos. 7-Eleven overseas is such a delight. Japan actually owns 7-Eleven now. I know some of you think it's American owned. It started in Texas, but the Japan International Holdings that bought several franchises of Japan, I'm sorry, of 7-Eleven back in the 80s and 90s, ended up buying out the whole company sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s. So they own all of it. And so the headquarters is down in Japan, and Japan 7-Elevens are a whole different experience. So if you hate 7-Eleven here and you have the opportunity to go to Japan, I'm telling you, completely different experience. It's like the difference between Taco Bell in the real world now compared to Taco Bell in the movie Demolition Man, when Sylvester Stallone is thawed out in the future, and Taco Bell has become like the most upscale restaurant in the world. It's basically like that, like the difference in quality. Also, and in other places too, like they're pretty tight in Taiwan and Thailand, especially Taiwan, because Taiwan is kind of, they're Japanophiles anyway, so they're gonna love anything that's like centered around Japanese culture, like Japan. Anyway, back to that. Stop fighting at these cheap food places. So I don't know what started the altercation, but whatever happened, the prosecutors saw that it was not evidence to meet the burden of proof to press charges on the mother and son. So good. Man still lost his life, but he earned his Darwin Award. So I'm not sad, because regardless of whatever she may have said to him, he should have kept his hands to himself. Now, like Chris Rock said a long time ago in one of his comedy specials, it's a good reason to hit a person for anything. Just don't do it. He said it's a good reason to kick an old man down the stairs, but just don't do it. Okay? I'm pretty sure she may have said something to deserve a punch in the face, but he still shouldn't have done it, especially repeatedly. And they're in the south side of Chicago, so we all know in inner cities there's an escalation of crime. Like, one crime begets another. And so now that this has come about, this family is going to have to leave Chicago, because we don't know what or whom that guy may have been affiliated with in Southside Chicago. There's a notorious gang called the Wild Hunnets out there, and there's many, there's other sorts of, you know, organized crime and stuff like that. So now they're gonna have to upend their whole entire life because of a few seconds of bad judgment. And this son husband shouldn't have been acting them. I understand. If someone's punching your mom in the face, you want to do whatever you can. But shooting a man and killing him, man, like, now this guy has a body on him because his mother doesn't know how to act. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna put some of this on her. I don't know who started the argument and why, but only in America do women, especially black women, think that they can just talk to women, to men in any kind of way and think there's no repercussions whatsoever. That doesn't happen in other countries. You will get popped in the mouth. But black women are used to disrespecting black men without repercussions. And again, assuming she started it, he had every right to feel disrespected, but he still shouldn't have been beating her up. Like that's just a no-win situation. Whether she deserved it or not, it's just a no-win situation. It's just another installment of when niggas do stupid things. If someone is doing something, unless you are in immediate danger, call the police, guys. Call the police. I understand if someone's beating up your mom, go, do what you got to do. But if you if you can avoid it, don't shoot someone. No bang bang. No, don't do that. And I mean, he's some little 14-year-old kid, so luckily he may still have his whole life ahead of him. Again, if there's no escalation from this from his family or his friends, we don't know. It's just not worth it. It's not worth getting into violent altercations with stupid, dangerous people at all. And a mother shouldn't be putting her son in a predicament where he has to come defend her with her gun. If she has a concealed carry, she should have had it on her, especially knowing that they live in one of the worst areas of the country, South Side Chicago. One of the worst areas of the fucking country. It makes sense that she had a concealed carry, but she should have had it on her, not make her son have to catch a body for her because she doesn't know how to say, control her mouth. That's all I gotta say about that, guys. So, part of self defense is avoiding situations where you can get hurt.